I've been using the Google Pixel Buds as my primary earbuds for over 6 months now. So in this video, I'm going to take you through what it's been like to use the Pixel Buds over the long term, the standout features, as well as some of my favorites, and some of the issues and downsides we've run into while using the buds. And then ultimately, I'll give you my recommendation on whether or not you should pick up a pair. So let's dive in, and first, let's talk about the design of the Pixel Buds. The Pixel Buds sport one of the nicest cases I've ever used. It's got this great matte white finish, and the shape is round and smooth, kind of like a river stone. The finish also isn't as prone to micro scratches compared to something like the AirPods case, which is more glossy, and the Pixel Buds case has just held up quite well over the past 6 months for me. The Pixel Buds case also does have a bit more weight to it compared to something like the AirPods case, and is slightly larger. When you flip open the case, you get this great clicking sound. The Pixel Buds sport a different design than your typical earbuds. They're in-ear, so they partially seal your ear canal. However, they also have a spatial vent that eliminates any feeling of your ears being plugged. I personally found them to be quite comfortable, and I appreciate that Google designed these earbuds so most of the earbud itself actually stays outside of your ear canal, so there's nothing going inside your ear brushing against anything that's going to cause discomfort like I've had with previous earbuds. The Pixel Buds also sport a stabilizing arc, which helps them stay in your ear, and in my experience over the past 6 months, the fit of these has been great. Definitely play around with the tip sizes in the box though. I found that the medium-sized tip fit great for one ear, while the smaller tip fit better in another. One other great thing about the fit of these earbuds is they sit pretty much flush in your ear, so they're less easy to knock out, like if you need to pull off your sweatshirt, etc. When you place them back in the case will show an indicator light at the bottom to indicate its level of charge, and when you place the earbuds back in the case, there's a status light for them to indicate their level of charge, white for 100% charged and orange for charging. When the case itself needs to be charged, the status light on the bottom will turn orange, and you can charge them either through USB-C, wireless charging, or even reverse wireless charging with something like the Pixel 5, which we just did a review of on the channel that I'll link below and here in the video. You can also see the battery state of the case and earbuds if you use an Android device, and you can see that in quick settings. Over the past 6 months, I've enjoyed their fit. I found them quite comfortable to wear, and they're great for taking on a walk or run outside thanks to their water and sweat resistant design. Next, let's talk about sound quality. And one of the interesting things about the sound of the Pixel Buds is over the course of the 6 months we've been testing them, the sound has actually changed slightly thanks to the regular software updates that Google has been rolling out to the Pixel Buds. In the Pixel Bud settings on a phone like the Pixel 5, you'll see all kinds of settings. Some that were originally with the Buds, but others that were added later like EQ, bass boost, and attention alerts. The sound that I originally got out of the Pixel Buds was great. There was great track separation, but I did wish that the sound had a little bit more bass. Now, the bass boost feature that Google rolled out to the Pixel Buds did solve that early complaint I had. One other reason these sound so great are the in-ear design that Google gave them, which gives you the benefits of blocking out some of your ambient sound around you with passive noise cancellation. Now, this isn't active noise cancellation like you get on the AirPods Pro or the fancy Sony wireless earbuds, but it still makes listening to media like music and podcasts a lot easier compared to other earbuds that have an open ear design or don't put any seal at all on the ear canal, like the regular AirPods and even the previous generation of the Pixel Buds. Another thing I really like about the Pixel Buds are their touch controls. They work great, and they work the same on each earbud. Tap once to play/pause media, double tap for next track, triple tap for previous track or repeat, and swipe forward to raise the volume and swipe backward to lower. Over the past 6 months, I found that these touch controls are quite reliable, and they're one of my favorite features of the Pixel Buds. They also work on an iPhone as well, which is pretty cool. Now, not every feature with the Pixel Buds will work on an iPhone. You'll still need an Android device to set up features like EQ, bass boost, etc. And if you do plan on using the Google Pixel Buds with an iPhone, do note that the Google Assistant will not work in that scenario on the Buds, and neither will Siri. The Pixel Buds are just a great pair of buds to listen to music and podcasts on with their touch controls, software improvements, and in-ear detection. So if you take one earbud out of your ear, your media will stop playing. They also have a pretty good range. I found that I can leave the device that's playing the media in one room, go 2 or 3 rooms over, and the media will continue to play on the buds without issue. You can also listen to music and media with just one bud in your ear as well, and they'll easily pair with other Bluetooth devices by just long pressing the button on the back of the case with the buds still in the case. In terms of maintenance, I found that the buds are easy to clean with a microfiber cloth, and the ear tips are deep enough where any ear gunk that gets in them doesn't travel far up enough to get to the speaker grill, which is good. Now, thankfully, I've never had to use this feature in the 6 months I've been using the buds, but if you ever need to locate them, you can use the app on your phone to play a sound from the lost earbud to help locate it, or you can also see the last known location of your earbuds by using the Find My Device app on Android. Another cool feature with these buds is that they run the Google Assistant if you're using them with an Android device. You can say the trigger word to trigger the Google Assistant on them hands-free, and you can ask the Google Assistant to read your notifications, tell you about the weather, send somebody a message, turn off all the lights in your house, etc. You can also tap and hold either earbud to get an update from the Assistant that will tell you the time and new notifications from your phone. Alright, so those are all the things I really like about the Pixel Buds. Now let's move into some of the downsides and issues that I've run into while using them. Now, when I first got the Pixel Buds, there were definitely some issues to start with, but thankfully, most of the initial issues I ran into were resolved with later software updates. Some of the early issues I had with them were call cutouts. One of the buds would just lose connection to the device randomly, and then there was this hissing/static noise with the bud in my right ear. Now, in the months since, Google has significantly reduced that hissing and static noise through a software update, and then subsequent software updates fixed some of the other issues, so I don't have nearly as many call cutouts. I actually don't think I've had like one in the past 2 months. It's been pretty good there. And same thing for just one of the buds just losing connection and never recovering. I don't run into that issue anymore as well. And overall, I found that Google, during that time with that initial hiccups with the Pixel Buds, I found that they were pretty open and transparent and just great at listening to customer feedback during that time. Now, one random issue that will still happen from time to time is one of the buds will just lose connection to my device and never recover. Sometimes I can pause the media I'm listening to and play it again, and that'll fix it, or if all else fails, put the buds back in their case, pull them out again, and then they're good to go. Which isn't ideal if they lose connection while you're in the middle of a hike, in the middle of the woods, and you didn't bring the Pixel Buds case with you. And yes, that did happen to me once. Now, another issue that I'll occasionally run into with the Pixel Buds are that they almost create this sort of echo sound, like they just slightly lose sync with one another, so they create this artificial echo. That doesn't happen that often, but it does happen enough that I didn't want to mention it. And the way to get rid of that is sometimes you just have to pause and then play the media you were listening to again, or unpair and repair the buds, and that'll definitely fix the issue. If you want to use the buds for Zoom or audio calls, when I first got them, I would have warned against it, but Google has improved the reliability of them enough to where I think you'd be fine to use them for audio calls now.
All right, so here's a quick test of how the Pixel Buds second generation released in 2020 sound when recording them through QuickTime on my iMac.
The only issue I still have with them on occasion is with phone calls. Everything will be okay on my end, but the person I'm talking to will tell me that my audio is cutting in and out and just doesn't sound great. Now, I've used other earbuds to try to eliminate cell reception potentially having a factor there, and with other earbuds, I don't have this issue, so it does seem to be just the Pixel Buds. And the mics on the Pixel Buds are just okay. They're not great for audio call quality. I still prefer using my Apple AirPods for phone calls, but I much prefer using the Pixel Buds for music and runs. Now, if you want to see a full comparison between the AirPods and the Pixel Buds, we do have a video on that coming out shortly. So I'll link that in the video description below, as well as here in this video. So if you're interested, make sure you check that out. Another feature for me that was a bit of a letdown was the adaptive sound feature, which automatically raises and lowers the volume of what you're listening to based on the environment around you. I just didn't find this feature all that useful because I found it would sometimes turn up the volume more than I wanted it to, and I always had to manually turn the volume back down or even up in some scenarios, so I just ended up turning off this feature in settings. Alright, so those are all the things that I really like about the Google Pixel Buds and some of the downsides and issues that I've run into while using them. So, do I recommend getting a pair of Google Pixel Buds? Yes. Even with the hiccups that I've run into over the course of the 6 months I've been using the Pixel Buds, I still think they're a great pair of earbuds, and Google has eliminated and fixed quite a few of those early on issues I had with them, and I just really enjoy using them as a pair of wireless earbuds. I like their design, the case, touch controls, sound quality, aesthetic, and how easy they are to connect to my Pixel and other devices. The battery life is plenty for what I use them for, with 5 hours of listening time, and the case holds 24 hours of charge. Now, talk time is only 2.5 hours, but if you place them in a case to charge for 10 minutes, you'll get 2 hours of listening time and up to 1 hour of talk time back. So I think the Pixel Buds are a great choice for Android users and some iOS users that have a spare Android device lying around that they can use to initially set up the Pixel Buds as well as install subsequent firmware updates. The Pixel Buds come in 4 different colors: clearly white, oh so orange, quite mint, and almost black, and retail for $179 US. I hope you found this video helpful and informative, and if you did and liked it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel to see more 6 months later reviews like this video and more Google Tech product videos as well. Also, if you have any questions at all about the Google Pixel Buds, make sure you leave them in a comment below. Well, that'll do it for me. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.